What is happening, guys? Welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On today's show, we're going to give you 6 guys whose Dynasty ADP is about ready to skyrocket. And with me is my skyrocket co-host. You know him better as the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry Sinclair. Buddy, what's going on?
Randall, it's a beautiful day. It's another magical Sunday where I get to talk football with you. What more can a man ask for, my friend? How has your week been in the absence of Gerald?
Man, it's good. I know you do not particularly care about OTA and minicamp stuff. I love it. Lots of little things, little nuggets. J.K. Dobbins signed with the Broncos. Of course, you felt a rumble across the dynasty sphere. And I'll be honest, I listened to Theo and the Podfather the other day on Mind of Mansion, and obviously they had recorded that show prior to the news of J.K. Dobbins, and they were talking about how R.J. Harvey is getting steamed up in seasonal and best ball leagues. And I don't think it's a problem. Do you think it's a problem?
That J.K. Dobbins is there? I do.
Yeah.
Think problem. Yeah.
I think you're drunk. I think you're drunker than a hoot owl, and you just easily fall for narrative street.
I don't
who
think
else
so.
is, who else is there?
He was productive last year. Like J.K. Dobbins was good.
He was okay. Yeah, he was 100% okay.
And like if we're gonna talk about the Ashton Genty playing in the Mountain West, like
I mean
RJ Harvey played in the Big 12 at UCF. Like I mean, competition in the Big 12 was not super ideal, and he's going to come in and tear apart the NFL when we've seen J.K. Dobbins do well in the NFL. I'm just saying it's worth being skeptical.
We do this every year, and not we, because I'm not putting myself in this bucket. Y'all do this every year. Oh my God, Jahmyr Gibbs went to where David Montgomery is. It's a death. Dude, we can go back to Alvin Kamara. Oh, by the way, who'd he play for? Sean Payton. Who'd they pair him with? Oh yeah, someone way better. J.K. Dobbins.
I'm not saying the man is
not squirting a drop of piss.
J.K. Dobbins. I'm just saying, like J.K. Dobbins is gonna have a role. They didn't sign the man for no reason.
Well, yes, he's the meat shield. Did you think R.J. Harvey was going to get a Derrick Henry-esque level of? That's not what we want.
No, but I also
he's
just
the
don't
passing down back. He's the high leverage touchback.
He's
J.K. Dobbins is a meat shield.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all.
He's Najee Harris.
R.J. Harvey is limited now, 100%. His ceiling has gone a floor down. He's one less story at the top of his floor.
No. I mean, okay, fine. Does he have? He still has the same range of outcomes of being an RB1. Now, it may be closer to RB12 than it was RB5.
Oh, okay. But RJ Harvey was never going to be RB5.
100% in the range of outcomes. People, yeah. Would you have said the same thing about? Hold on. Would you have said the same thing about Kareem Hunt his rookie year this time?
No, I would not have.
I bet you would. You would have said, "There's no way he has a chance to be a top 5 running back." And guess what? He was.
That's correct. And well, he needed the starter to get hurt. I mean, I'm just saying.
I understand. So, like I said, he no longer has that top 5 upside to him.
He also doesn't have Andy Reid, but
yeah,
I mean, Kareem Hunt was a unicorn. Also,
he's only got a guy named Sean Payton who's made a career for 2+ decades of force feeding targets to his running backs. It's fine. It's fine.
It is fine.
If someone actually had a logical argument and said, "Hey, he's going to take some goal line touches," that would be the only. If you wanted to say his touchdown upside is capped, because I would agree with that. But you know what? Another guy that
that's what I said. I said his ceiling is one story lower.
You forgot the little setup of touchdown. His touchdown, his receptions aren't going to be hurt. And the yardage.
I disagree with that. J.K. Dobbins is a good pass catcher. J.K. Dobbins can do it. J.K. Dobbins can do everything that R.J. Harvey can do.
I refuse to be worried about a guy who was picked up in June. They could have pulled this trigger 3 months ago.
Fair. I mean,
I'll give you till next week if I'm here because I'll be in Georgia, but I'll give you a homework assignment. You give me the running back signed June 8th or later that had a significant impact, not only for fantasy, but impacted the guy that they all of a sudden joined. Speaking of, I want to get to another one. And Harry Snowman, God bless Harry Snowman. There's someone who gets it. Harry, you got here a little bit late. I already chastised him about the Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram. Sean Payton has done this throughout his career. So I am, but then tonight, as I was preparing the show, Nick Chubb looking to sign with the Houston Texans. What do you think about that?
But what do I care? I think he's fine. Does it affect us at all? No. I'm still chilling with Woody Marks. Like I'm still putting Woody Marks in my pocket, and I'm hoping that he learns how to play this position from two guys that have been bona fide running back studs for more than half a decade. And I'm hoping he learns how to be a professional.
I feel the same way about Woody Marks as I felt about RJ Harvey, which is nothing's changed. I am still equally bullish on Woody Marks because you're either the same as or different than. And Woody Marks is different than both Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb, especially at this point in their careers. He's going to bring a little bit more juice. He's a lot younger, really good pass catcher, former wide receiver. I'm still stoked, Jerry. I just wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring the temperature of the show up a little bit because we've got a big show. We have guys that we think are going to move their dynasty ADP. So if you were doing a dynasty startup, then maybe you're getting these guys in round 6 right now. Next year, we think maybe you could get these guys in round 4. You know, they're going to add to their overall ADP. But before we do that, I want to play the fast drafts ad, and then I want to add something about fast drafts. We'll be right back.
It is a damn shame we only get to do a handful of rookie drafts every season. After doing all this rookie analysis, you want more bites at the apple. And that's why we have the Fast Draft Origins tournament. You draft 6 rookies, the top 4 into your lineup. It's best ball style, and it's just $5 to win a $5,000 first prize. So if you're passionate about Taj Brooks or RJ Harvey, get on Fast Draft and use your favorite creator's code to get a $50 deposit match. A $50 deposit match to go make thousands of dollars drafting the rookies that you know and love.
The bite at the apple is a pure stroke of genius. Dastardly work there by the Podfather. And if you are listening to this and you are in the state of Pennsylvania, Fast Draft just went live in the state of Pennsylvania. And on this past week's Mind to Mansion in the pre-open, before Theo comes on, the Podfather kind of gets into a little bit of the nuts and bolts. And, you know, Michigan's on the way, Indiana, and they're talking. I don't know that it'll be in time for season. It was just, he was talking about it on the show. They tweeted out, Canada, the 51st state could be playing Fast Draft, Jerry, this year. Is that going to get us thrown off the air in Canada?
Maybe.
Are we on the air in Canada?
I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of Australians. We got some Icelanders. We got some English. I don't know. I don't know
what the conversion rate will be when we go live in Canada, but of U.S. dollars, USD, if you deposit $50, you can deposit more, but if you deposit $50, you'll get a dollar for dollar match up to an additional $50. It's $100 worth of drafting. So if you live in Pennsylvania, which come to find out per their research is one of the most densely populated fantasy football player markets in the entire country, like a per capita type thing. Of the 18 million people that live in Pennsylvania, I guess very strong in fantasy football. Doesn't surprise me. Steelers on one end, Eagles on the other. Anyway, promo code is WarZone. WarZone, Jerry. You do that when you sign up, and you double your money up to $50. All right, I got a quick good people, bad tweets for you.
Cool.
Are you ready?
I hope so.
Not his most egregious work, but a guy that has definitely graced the good people, bad tweet streets before. It's Mr. Jeff Bell at For Whom J. Bell Tolls. And he says Michael Mayer has more contingent upside than any other tight end in Dynasty fantasy football. Now, Jerry, you don't ever get good people bad tweets early unless you send it to me.
Yeah.
And you didn't send this one to me. It just popped on my timeline. And what do you think when you hear that?
I mean, the answer to that is Noah Gray, but I whatever. Like, is he saying that if my man gets hurt, then Michael Mayer will be valuable? Because we saw Michael Mayer get a chance his rookie year and not really do anything. So I don't know, Jeff. I'm gonna have to just disagree. I don't think it's your worst work, but and in the league that we share, our money league, I've got Michael Mayer just sitting down there, way at the bottom of my roster, all with the lost children. I'm not hoping for much out of him. So I appreciate your thought process. I'm sure you drafted him early and you're just hoping that you can get something out of him. But brother, that ship has sailed. Sayonara.
No, I think, again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think the thought is if Michael Mayer goes down, I think that's what he is referring to when he says contingent upside. For me, I don't want just the presence of an injury to be the only chance for the upside to come, because I agree with you. We've already seen Noah Gray perform at a much higher level at this point in his career. But when I think of contingent upside, I think not only will they get there, even if it's by injury, and I'll give you an example, Ben Sinnott. If Ben Sinnott gets there, he has more contingent upside than Michael Mayer, because if he supplants Zach Ertz due to injury, he stays there. He's a year 2 tight end. He stays there. That's more, especially for Dynasty, contingent upside. Theo Johnson has more, not just contingent upside, but upside, period, because he has the job to himself for the most part. And if he runs with it, he's going to have it and he's going to maintain it. So even if Brock Bowers gets hurt and even if Michael Mayer has a good season, it's not long-term upside. You're not even going to be able to sell him unless you can sell him to a desperate Brock Bowers owner.
Yeah.
I just saw that, and I do think there are, like, Oronde Gadsden, the rookie with the LA Chargers. He's got a bunch of upside. Chiga Okonkwo, with a grown-up real quarterback, has some upside.
Hopefully.
Brenton Strange has more upside. I mean, I can literally keep going up the player profiler dynasty ranks and continue to give you more guys that have upside than Michael Mayer. I get it. I hope it's a tweet about how good Brock Bowers is, but that's the problem. That's why the upside's not there, because we've seen Michael Mayer without Brock Bowers. Not great. Not great. So all the tight ends that I listed, I would much rather have. Am I off base there?
No, not at all. I agree with you.
All right, so I'm going to be nice because Jeff is good people. That's, he's the genesis of this. Jeff is really good people, good content creator, but sometimes we all fumble, but I still have to give him Dana White.
I'm going to tell you this. It was a huge, huge fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Completely fucking irresponsible, a shit show, dangerous, stupid, irresponsible, and just completely fucking ridiculous.
I mean, that's fair.
Tell him, Dana. Tell him, Dana.
That is fair. But Jerry, these people came to hear about guys you and I are going to be moving up the dynasty ranks. A guy that could jump significantly. Maybe it's a good situation. Maybe there's a veteran out of the way. Maybe they're a rookie drafted, RJ Harvey, drafted into the right set of circumstances that they're going to have a hard time not succeeding. I am going to give you the honors. I'm going to let you go first. Give us, and by the way, I want to give the listeners a little inside baseball that you guys got something special tonight, because Jerry normally does very, very little pre-work. He liked this topic so much today. He texts me. He's like, "Hey, who are you using? Because I don't want to double them up." I was like, check out Jerry doing some homework for the show.
I did a 4-word text message. That was my pre-show setup for today, but it is something more than I do. Randy, I went with a rookie because fuck it, right? We might as well talk about some rookies who I think are going to jump. Travion Henderson. We just did a startup, Patreon 20. He went at 505. Randy, I think this man is the man. Now, I have been a long hater of Ramondre Stevenson. Randall, I know you have not been the biggest fan of Ramondre Stevenson. So why in the hell would I think that Ramondre Stevenson is going to step in this man's path at all? If Travion Henderson does remotely where we're drafting him to be and where the Patriots wanted to take him, and that equals out to his production, he's a second-round startup pick. Like, I mean, he's after the Gibbses of the world, but are you going to take him over Devon A-Chain? Yeah, probably. So, like, huge opportunity for him to jump up. Good pass catcher, good runner. Got to stay on the field, brother. We've seen too many injuries in Columbus. Let me just see you stay good in Foxborough. Let's get some fantasy points. Travion Henderson, crazy? Do you hate it? Do you think he's too young? You think Ramondre pushes him back for a little bit and that sort of kills it? I think by the end of the season, that's the Travion show.
I think I'm hoping you're going to get a little bit more bold with this as we move up. So you think I like Travion too, by the way. I've moved him up. My wide receiver 3, and I because of the pass catching that I do think he'll be heavily involved in, he's pushing Omarion Hampton for wide receiver, or excuse me, rookie running back number 2 in this class. I mean, you guys know how much I love me some Hampton. But I think this is a little soft. He's already 8. I think he is going to be really good. So for all of you older Dynasty gamers and just fantasy gamers in general, you need to go back and look at some of the smaller running backs that have played in the Josh McDaniels offense. I mean, he is used, and I'm drawing a blank. Dion Lewis was one of them. There was a couple of other guys. He has taken guys that aren't the biggest guys and made them absolute monsters for fantasy football production. And he's going to be, again, same thing I said about Woody Marks, same thing I said about RJ Harvey, just a better situation, a better athlete, better draft capital, but he's going to be involved in the passing game. That's all I want. Graham Barfield did the research on the stats many years ago that one, and remember this top, each reception is equivalent to like 1.65 rush attempts, because and I think it's probably more with PPR. Yeah, dude, I'm in on Travion Henderson. He's currently going 8th overall. Do you think he'll jump into the top 3 or 4 next year? Because like that would have to be that big jump we're talking about. And then Jamie in the chat, hold on real quick. Jamie in the chat, I was right on Dion Lewis, but yeah, Danny Woodhead is another example.
Yeah, there was
but Danny Woodhead had 0. Like Travion Henderson has more like physical football talent in his pinky than Danny Woodhead had. Danny Woodhead made the most of everything God gave him. So sorry.
That's true. He did hit his ceiling, bless his sweetheart. I think 100% though, because what are you looking at? You're looking at Bijan. You're looking at Gibbs. They're going to get in his way.
Genty.
You're going to look at Genty potentially. Other than that, who are you like?
Nobody.
Breece Hall has to have an unbelievable season, and I don't think he does. Like, if Travion Henderson has 1,200 yards, which is not like set the world on fire awesome, just because of his age, because of his draft capital, because he went to Ohio State, because we've talked about him for 100 years already, and he hit as a rookie, 100%, probably RB4.
Yeah, I think he can. Let me ask you a question. I don't think it. I mean, it's definitely in the range of outcomes.
Yes,
but
yes.
I mean,
there's a chance he poops his pants too and doesn't do anything. Don't get me wrong.
And I'm not trying to like, and I'm saying without injury. I don't want to put that on anybody.
Yeah.
But let's say both guys play 16 games, because you're going to miss one with a sore knee, you're going to miss one with a hammy, whatever. So let's say both guys play 16 games, and straight up, would it surprise you? Would you be shocked? Would you be like, oh, if Travion Henderson outscored Ashton Genty this year? Because I would not. I would not be.
I would be surprised, but it's just because I think Ramondre Stevenson is much better than anything Ashton Genty's going to have to deal with. But like, if you told me he was going to outscore Omarion Hampton by 300 yards, wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, I think Najee is going to piss a lot of people off. myself included.
Oh, I mean, and that is completely fair. I was just saying, I know everybody loves
I know.
And Genty will be fine. Genty will be just fine. But I don't know that. I don't know. I don't want to spin off into Genty talk because that we won't get through all 6.
That's
and
fair.
And the show literally
Who do you got?
says 6.
Who's
6.
jumping? Who's Randy got jumping?
I'm going way low, and for me,
You're in the bargain bin.
Kinda. I'm going Roshan Johnson.
Okay.
Dirt cheap. This is where you make generational wealth in your dynasty league. You go out and I don't know. I mean, what do you think you can get him for? If you haven't had your rookie draft,
Nothing.
You could get him for any third. He's a throw in a bigger trade.
Yes.
And I truly think that out of the running backs in Chicago, given his size, he could be in that David Montgomery role. Now he's not as talented as David Montgomery.
I see what you're saying, though.
But the one thing people have to understand about Ben Johnson is that he is one of the more running bait. You know this. You were a Lions fan. And how do you protect a young quarterback? What would if you were trying to help a young quarterback, what would step 1 be? Because they did this.
Well, I would draft Penei Sewell, but I know you want to run the ball.
Well, that was my number 2. Number 1 is you want to address the offensive line, which they did. They acquired 2 guards, a center. They really worked on the interior of that offensive line. Number 2 would be running backs. Is it Menage, the kid out of Rutgers?
Oh, the one guy.
Yeah, the one that Eric Bieniemy said looked like a slow ass old man.
He does. I like Kyle Monung guy.
I think if Roshan is so cheap, and if he hits, okay, based off of the hype he had during rookie season, he was a Longhorn. Guys like the Podfather loved him, and he's a Bear. And the one thing about Bears fans, I think it's fair to say most leagues have at least one Bear fan in every dynasty league or close to.
We all have a friend that, licks the window and eats the paint. We all got them.
And they're great friends to have. But I think you look at Roshan, and I think he's a guy that you could sell in season for a second. You might be able to send Roshan in a second and get a contender's first. I know everybody, like if he comes out hot and all of a sudden, because the narrative on social media, X it'll paint itself. Oh, Roshan, the next David Montgomery, he's, ripping shit up, and he very well could. You could easily go get that 2027 first that everybody's trying to go get right now.
True.
I'm in a league with a Sharper Review, big Devi guy. He's already sent me like 6 trades trying to get my 27 first. I'm like, no. I see what we're doing there, but what do you think about Roshan? Is Roshan on your radar? Is that a good one? I wanted to start off kind of like you because it's safe. He's not expensive, and there's a lot of runway for him to increase the value on your dynasty roster.
I've got a ton of Roshan, Randy, because I drafted him, and he's just been sitting on my roster pissing me off for 3 years. So I hope you're right, because I've just been holding out hope that DeAndre Swift is going to do what DeAndre Swift does. And unfortunately, he's done what DeAndre Swift does, which is be the most boring back-end RB2 ever. He has like 3 games where he does really well, and it balances out his year-end scoring. And every other game, you get like 7.6 points out of him. Then you're pissed off. So I hope that Benny J helps out Roshan, and we can get a little love from him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't have any wisdom for you. I hope you're correct.
Well, again, it's a lot of things. It just ties to they didn't add a running back. They could have added Nick Chubb. They could have added J.K. The world beater, the trendsetter, the jet setter, J.K. Dobbins. They could have had him.
They could have set the world on fire, baby.
They could have had Nick Chubb. They could have had all these guys. And they're literally like, hey, we're going to give Roshan a shot. And maybe they bring a veteran in camp. It's very well possible. But I just thought he was cheap. He was kind of a safe guy for me to start with on the show. because if he hits, he goes from the double-digit rounds to easily, if he gets listed as the Chicago starter and he's getting a majority of snaps and touches, and I don't know that I get rid of him. He could be to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, that puts him in the, like, Kenneth Walker is in the 7th round right now. So if he goes into the season starting next year, you could easily assume he's going to jump right there. And what's Kenneth Walker worth? Probably about 110-ish, 111-ish, depending on the person. So you immediately profit. I'm cool with that. Randall, my guy is
real quick. He is RB Roshan. He pronouns, pal. He
64.
Is 60. He is 60. Going behind. And you stop me when you hear a guy you'd rather have than Roshan Johnson on your dynasty roster. Okay, you ready? Will Shipley.
No.
DJ Giddens.
No.
Ollie Gordon.
No.
Devin Neal.
No.
Jalen Wright.
No.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So there's your line. And then in the next group is Tyler Algier, Brashard Smith, Jarquez Hunter, Ray Davis.
I'd rather have him over all of those guys, though.
And I don't think it's particularly close.
No.
I don't think it's about the other running back. I'm not going to get into his stats, but I do want to throw out there that I think could also make a big jump. Jordan Mason in Minnesota. Again, same thing. Help give me your next guy.
Isaiah Likely. Randy, I love me some Mark Andrews. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the hatred has gone on too far because he dropped the 2-point conversion or whatever the hell it was in the playoffs and they lost and it was so sad. Mark Andrews is good still. That contract is running up, and Isaiah Likely has shown flashes of being great. And if Mark Andrews does leave that situation, we have seen Lamar Jackson love that tight end spot. And Isaiah Likely is athletic enough and he's dependable enough that he can absolutely step into that situation and be just groovy. At this point, he is Jonnu Smith. Like we saw Jonnu Smith early in his career, 400 yards, 400 yards, 400 yards. And everybody just talking about how awesome he was going to be and awesome he was going to be. And he just never did it. And Randy, we were on this show and we had Jonnu Smith was the butt of all the jokes that we had because he never came through.
Jonnu Smith was Kyle Pitts before being Kyle Pitts was cool.
True. And now we look at Jonnu Smith. I mean, we've seen some tight end 1 years. And I think Isaiah Likely's are sooner on the horizon than Jonnu Smith's was. He's 25 years old. Mark Andrews has 1 more year on his contract. I think there's a real shot that this guy, because I'm looking at the startup that we just did, and I'm using this one as a reference. It's pretty standard scoring, and we just did it about a month ago. He went 14th round, 3rd pick. I mean, if he can do well, like you easily see him jump up into that Colston Loveland range, which is like the 6th or 7th round of a startup. Like he could easily jump him no matter what. Like Tucker Kraft, 9th round. Like there's the world is Isaiah Likely's oyster. Because even if he does drop another 300 yards for you, is his value really going to tank? No. Like he's still going to be worth about what you have. And you just hold out for another year.
I don't hate it because I'm going to cover Zay Flowers here in just a minute. I think he's also a break, but I will go ahead and share with you some of the reasons why I think Isaiah Likely's a break. Where do you think Lamar finished in pass attempts last year? Because what creates targets for our pass catching options and the running backs, we love them as pass catching options. Where do you think Lamar finished in that? He did play all 17 games.
24th.
Actually, you would be very surprised. Dead in the middle of the league, 16.
Okay. I'll take that.
But
that's better than I thought.
But out of all the other top offenses, Joe Burrow, 652. Rodgers with the Jets, a surprising 584. I do believe that Lamar could add literally up to 10% to that 474 last year, kind of get in that top 12-ish. Matt Stafford threw 517, and that brings more targets. And the one thing, and we talked about Michael Mayer earlier in Good People, Bad Tweets. You'd have to go back and one thing I've been using like a bunch is like Chat GPT to do like stat research. It just saves so much time. You avoid so much spam. It's wonderful. But as I've done this, I'm starting to see more and more 12 personnel in the stats. I think you're going to continue to see that. I think you're going to continue to see. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh McDaniels didn't try it. I don't know who the other one would be, but it's like people are going to get back to that Gronk and Aaron Hernandez type setup. Because you remember how unstoppable those two guys were? It was crazy. And I think people that don't want to invest in Isaiah Likely because Mark Andrews didn't get traded during the draft and he's still on the roster, that's totally fine. But did you see the tweet from Jim Harbaugh talking about how he thought Isaiah Likely could be an all-timer or whatever? I mean, he's got the media speak. He's got the fantasy speak. He's got the coach speak. He's got it all right now, Jerry.
Like, I didn't fall for Jonnu Smith for the longest time, and I'm falling for Isaiah Likely. I'm going to be honest with you. But he's somebody that you just have to be patient with tight ends. Like, I know we have been blessed with the Sam Laportas and the Brock Bowers of the world, and even TJ Hawkinson to an extent. But a lot of these guys, like Jonnu Smith, like Evan Ingram, like David Njoku, like all of the guys that were at the top of our championship rosters that we went at our tight end position, a lot of them were guys that we drafted super early in tight end super flex drafts. And then they didn't do a fucking thing for like 4 years. And then now they're finally starting to pay off. And so Isaiah Likely, we're a couple years in. I'm starting to be older, wiser, less impatient. As I creep towards 40 and I'm working on playing this game for 15 years, the wisdom has finally come, Randall. Well, the gray beard is coming.
Can I use your wisdom to impart some more wisdom on our audience?
Please, for the love of all that is good.
What did we hate about Jonnu Smith this year? No, I'm sorry, not Jonnu Smith, Harold Fanning Jr. He was slow. He ran a 4.8 something. You know what Isaiah Likely's 40 is? 4.88. 4.88. What did we hate about, or what was the knock on Tyler Warren? Short arms. Isaiah Likely has 31-inch arms in the 14th percentile of the tight end position. So as we're talking about Isaiah Likely, let this be a reminder that tight ends do take a while to marinate and before they pop. That's why in all of my Superflex tight end premium drafts, I leave every draft with a flyer tight end. Like we mentioned Gadsden earlier, a flyer tight end and a flyer quarterback. Because in those formats, they take a little bit longer. That's what your taxi squad is made for. I want to talk a little bit about Zay Flowers. I talked a little bit about the offense, but before we do, I want to let the Podfather talk about Dynasty Deluxe.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long. And there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with Superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams. And then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs. And then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes pick values out to like 2028. All of that plus the rookie guide, $25 value is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to all in and get $25 off.
Well, there you go, Jerry.
Yeah, buddy.
Little Dynasty Deluxe. So promo code is WarZone. You can bump up to all in. It'll save you $25. Promo code is WarZone, same as Fast Draft. Promo code WarZone. So my guy, Zay Flowers. Where do you think Zay Flowers finished last year as a wide receiver? He finished as wide receiver blank for the season.
All right. So I don't have tons of Zay Flowers, so I don't exactly know how he did, but something is telling me he scored quite a few touchdowns. So I'm going to say wide receiver 19.
Not too bad. He was wide receiver 25, but he did not catch a bunch of touchdowns.
Touchdowns. Okay, that's what it was.
I think on top of a little bit more volume, that's where the fantasy points come in. So he scored on the season last year 209.5 PPR points. Okay. To get into that wide receiver one conversation, he needs to be approximately 30 to 40 more points. If he were to add 48 points, he would be in the wide receiver 8-ish range. Okay. So if he goes from wide receiver 25 to wide receiver 8 in his third year, you could see a big jump next year in ADP. And to do that at 48 points, it's 3 points a game if he plays 16 games, which again, I'm always going to subtract the 1. I like the math based around 16. I hate the 17th game because it just makes the data so wonky. But anyway, if he averages 1.5 extra catches per game, which means he might catch 1 extra here, 2 extra there, and adds 4 touchdowns to the 4 that he had last year, that gets him the 48 points. He doesn't have to add any more receptions to his 74 receptions. He doesn't have to add any yardage to his 1,059. So I think just adding that, just a little bit of a nudge in an offense that I think, as Lamar gets older, you mentioned becoming a white beard yourself. As Lamar gets older, it's like in some of these games, does Lamar start running maybe just a little less? Just a little less to try to add longevity to his career. He's also worked so well on becoming a much better passer of the football. So for me, I think I don't want to like combat you with the Isaiah Likely versus Zay Flowers. I think there's more than enough to go around.
I have long been a poo-pooer of Mr. Zay Flowers, but I think everything you're saying is logical for the reason that you're right. Lamar Jackson does need to run the ball less. And also Derrick Henry, as he gets older, will also need to be less of a focal point because you don't want to kill him. You've now got him for 3 years. You're no longer just trying to kill him for 400 carries this year and just hoping that you can win it and be done. Now you got that boy locked in. And then you've got Lamar Jackson, who's an absolute the guy. He is the Ravens at this point. So you need him to be okay. The best way to do that is to pass the ball. And you know who you're not going to pass the ball to? The guy they just re-signed, Rashad Bateman, because what's Rashad Bateman ever done?
Man, you talk about names that like people wanted to be a thing.
He goes in
that pantheon of names like Corey Davis and
Treylon Burks. Keneal Carey. N'Keal Harry. There we go.
Apostrophe K-E-A-L.
I had a stroke there. That was my bad.
N'Keal. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'm stoked. I drafted him in our most recent patron startup, Patron 20. I got him as my wide receiver 2 behind Drake London.
Cool.
And
cool with that.
If he plays the way that I think he can play, he is just going to slingshot up dynasty rankings. I forget where I got him. It was in like the 7th, 8th round. I could look here in a second. I'll be honest, I'm a little distracted. The Pacers are playing
you're fine.
The NBA finals. I got to watch the Halaban. By the way, what a cold-blooded, dastardly nickname to give somebody. It's not the Taliban, it's the Halaban. And they keep photoshopping Tyrese Halliburton's face onto Osama bin Laden's and they call it the Halaban. It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. Sorry. So yeah, if I'm a little distracted, but enough about Zay Flowers. Give us your third guy.
No, I mean Tyrese Halliburton went to Iowa State, so he's my Ames brother too. So everybody out here is freaking out about your Pacers as well. If I'm gonna go one guy, I have no reason to say this name, Randy. It is pure hope and just looking to the football gods and doing the rain dance until it starts raining, baby. I will sacrifice my richest and fattest oxen to make this one come to fruition. I have no reason, but it's Keon Coleman, Randy. I don't really love Joshua Palmer. I don't think Khalil Shakir is that great of a player, and I think Josh Allen is awesome. And we've got Hard Knocks. which means that camera is going to be in front of Keon Coleman that whole time because he is a character. And I am hoping that it gives him the confidence that he needs. He can figure out this playbook and he can finally be the guy that Josh Allen needs. No logic. We are going to, I'll get to the YouTube comments later when I check on it next week, when I like to rewatch the show, and someone's going to say, Jerry said Keon Coleman, terrible take. And I'm going to understand. And I'm not even going to fight back for it. I just want Keon Coleman to work, Randy. I do. I'm selfish.
I'm trying to pull him up where he's at in the player profiler dynasty rankings. The mothership, the home office, if you will, player profiler, not a fan. Wide receiver,
No.
Wide receiver 57. He's in the mix with guys like Marvin Mims, Cedric Tillman, Darnell Mooney, Calvin
Which is
Ridley.
that's where he should be. I'm not going to disagree with that. I just think if there's an opportunity, if he gets 1,100 yards, which is exponentially better than he did last year, but not unachievable, that puts him in the 7th round of a startup. The 8th round, like we got Ricky Pearsall going at 802 in this draft we just did. Last year he had 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And one current bad hamstring.
Yeah, and got shot.
Well,
Now,
I'm not going to hold the getting shot against him.
No, that's actually super gangster. Good for him. But like Jordan Addison is also in the 8th round. And we're looking at, he's had a 900-yard season and an 800-yard season, and he moved up to the 8th round of a startup. Like Luther Burden's in there, Xavier Worthy's in there. So like if Keon Coleman, who's pretty young, if I remember right, I think he was
22.
Yeah, he's 22.
22.
So if he pops off for 1,000 yards, there's no reason to think he won't go in that range, that George Pickens, Ricky Pearsall sort of range, which is 5 to 6 rounds higher than where you're drafting him right now. And rookie draft wise, it's exponentially different because there was not a single person that I could send a second to and get Keon Coleman, or the other way around, send Keon Coleman to get a second during the rookie draft. Everybody would have sent me the middle finger emoji. No, Jerry, go to hell.
Do you want to put on a bit of a spicy take? Can I layer on, like when you make like a nacho 7-layer salad, or you're making? Can I put a little spice on our salad?
Yeah, of course.
From a statistical standpoint, not a talent standpoint, nothing else, just pure statistics. And that ties in quarterback play, that ties in the offense, weapons around him, everything else. I think people are going to be big mad when Keon Coleman takes a better step in his sophomore year than Marvin Harrison Jr. does.
Oh.
Not to say that Keon Coleman will be, again, I said spice. I don't fuck around when I say spice. Like you say spice and then give us mayonnaise. When I say spice, I mean spice. Because while Keon Coleman is not the athlete that Marvin Harrison Jr. is, did you see the Ian Hartitz tweet where he's like, let me post all of Marvin Harrison's Jr.'s yards after the catch, and it was like 18 yards.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, part of the reason why I'm fading Marvin Harrison Jr., and I'm so glad you didn't put him on here, because it's easy to say he's going to take a step, but it's like Trey
Honestly,
McBride.
he never even
Trey
went into
McBride
my
didn't
head.
go nowhere. And if Trey McBride's the man, it's like keep trying to find that wide receiver behind Travis Kelce. It only took until Travis Kelce's like 14th season to finally get us to a guy like Rashee Rice. Now, okay, cool. I guess Tyreek Hill, but anyway, blah blah blah. I'm sidetracking.
You're good.
That's my spice. That's the spice, is that I'm not calling for it yet. We'll do our hot take show later in the summer as the temperatures crank up.
But maybe write that one down. You might circle back to it.
Well, you have the writer downer. You have the ink stick right there. Write that down. I will keep that as well. But I think that's fair. Like I look at all of last year's wide receivers, and there's a lot of them. Would it surprise you if Keon? Now, again, possible versus probable. Is it possible? Well, sure, it's possible. Is it probable? Maybe not. But would it surprise you if Keon Coleman took a bigger jump than Marvin Harrison Jr.? I say no.
I would say that it is a toss-up, buddy.
What about Xavier Worthy? Have we seen the best of him? Because we've not seen him with Rashee Rice.
We've
could
seen
take
the
a
best
huge
of
step.
Xavier Worthy, and I'm sorry, I'm just never going to be in on Xavier Worthy. And I know
Well-
there are people that want to make him the focal point of their roster. And brothers and sisters, I wish you the absolute best of luck. It's just not going to be on my teams.
Would it surprise you if Keon Coleman took a better sophomore step forward than Rome Odunze?
Shit.
That's what I'm saying. Keon Coleman, Jerry, for once you got it right. You ended right. You did it right. Keon Coleman to be valued in the wide receiver 50s. That's a wide receiver 5. He's a guy that if he
That's
takes
free. That's free.
And
They fall out of your pocket.
And let's say that, let's just be fair across the board. Let's say Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Keon Coleman all take a similar step, right? They all improve their stats by 20%. Well, whose ADP takes the biggest jump? It's Keon Coleman. Does he go from 50-something to 30-something? 20s? Do we get that he's attached to Josh Allen tingly feeling in our nether regions? Of course we do. Of course we do. So for me, I like that one. That was big spice. I've got one. It's probably not as sexy. You did it well. You did it better than me. You made me feel bad.
Good.
But that's all right. For me, because he's currently tight end 13 and he's a rookie, Terrence Turd Ferguson. That kid is going to be trading in that top 6 at the position range. He's going to cut his ADP in half. I think the kid's the goods. And I've shared this before, but it was news last year that Sean McVay and the Rams were trying to trade up with I don't remember who. They were trying to get ahead of the Raiders to get Brock Bowers. They really want to add a tight end to this offense. And over the course of his 8 seasons to date, what do you think the tight end has averaged in targets with the LA Rams? I guess formerly St. Louis Rams. What do you think?
How many targets?
Yes, the tight end position. What does that group get?
9 targets.
They get pretty close. They get I did it on a season. They get about 100. They get about 100. They get about 105 targets per season at the tight end position. And Tyler Higbee, 4 times in his career, he's had 70 or more targets. He had a 70 target season, 108 target season, an 85, and an 89 target season. And while I don't expect Terrence Ferguson to maybe get 108, I could see him having a big season. And they're looking to continue because Sean McVay, whether it's Cooper Kupp, he had Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks was more of the deep threat guy. He loves attacking that middle of the field. He loves wearing out safeties and linebackers. I think it's a good spot. I love it. And where do you think he was drafted? Do you remember his draft position?
I don't. I could try to
46. I got it.
Okay.
I knew it. He was the 46th player off the board, and he was the Rams' first player because they made the trade back with the LA Rams. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you to get RJ Harvey level excited about Terrence Ferguson, but it's the exact same thing. It's a great offense, good quarterback, good play caller, doesn't have to come in and be the focal point. It would be blasphemous to come in here and say, hey, he could do, because that's too much spice. You know, it's like when they ask for so much spice and they write on the receipt, make him regret it. It's like, that's too much spice. But you remember when Sam Laporta just kind of came out of nowhere? Good draft capital.
I do.
Oh, yeah, because you're a Lions fan. Would it shock you, given the numbers and the stats that I just hit you with, Matthew Stafford, if all of a sudden, again, I don't want to make Terrence Ferguson out to be Sam Laporta. That's a big ask. But I think he could have a really, really good show. I'm sorry, really, really good season. I thought I was channeling my anyway, but
in truth, this whole show could have been about tight ends that we wanted to talk about. They could make a jump. because we have a lot of those guys. We have the Terrence Fergusons, or Tyler Ferguson, we have Elijah Arroyo, we have Harold Fannin. All of the rookies, really, Randy, they could. Noah Gray could. Brenton Strange could. Like, all of them. Everybody who's in that, like, tier there could all take a humongous jump, which is what we need, because right now we have sort of an ugly tight end situation in Dynasty, but here's to hoping, brother. Here's to hoping they make it a little bit easier on us next year. Mason Taylor, thank you, Jack.
Were there any guys that barely missed your list that you thought would be huge? I guess that maybe not huge, but maybe had the shot to make this list, and maybe they were like the fourth option, the fifth option.
Jalen McMillan. I wanted to put Jalen McMillan on there just because he went absolutely bananas to end the year. Now, I know there were some injuries, and that is why, and Chris Godwin is still there, and Mike Evans is still there, and they drafted Emeka Egbuka. But all the reasons, that just makes Jalen McMillan super cheap. And I saw him get like 8 touchdowns in the last like 4 games or something. I'm ballparking it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but if I remember right, it was like 5 catches for 50 yards every single game for the last like 5 or 6, and he scored a touchdown in every one of them with multiple tutties in a couple of them. And that is effing good, man. And if he's going to do that as a rookie with everything else going on, he's worth a stab, especially because he's cheap as all hell.
Yeah, I mean, and
a lot of mouths to feed, not likely to hit, but he's, for his acquisition cost, he could turn you a profit.
I think Mason Taylor's is a good one, because outside of, I mean, I'm pretty sure Alan Lazard beat Aaron Rodgers to Pittsburgh.
Another Iowa State guy too.
But by the way, I know it's popular to hate on Aaron Rodgers, and in fairness, he brings this shit on himself.
He really does.
But here's the thing. If you ever have a chance to get a boy who has your back, like Aaron Rodgers has his people's back, that's a friend. I don't know what kind of weird shit they could or couldn't be into. I know Aaron Rodgers is into some weird shit, but Aaron Rodgers always sticks up for the team. Yep, let's make sure Randall Cobb gets paid. Let's make sure Alan Lazard gets paid. Let's make sure my boys get taken care of. Aaron Rodgers is a lot of things. Bad friend ain't one of them. I'll start.
No. While we're talking about Aaron Rodgers,
sure.
Thoughts on DK?
I
have been the resident circle jerker of DK Metcalf for a long time, but you've gone through your ups and downs with DK. So what is your take on this situation?
Is DK Metcalf motivated? Can DK Metcalf get locked in? I think he could actually hear the Tomlin message and listen. Whereas guys like Antonio Brown half listened. Whereas George Pickens half listened. He's 27. He's right in the peak of his powers. I just had him pulled up because I had a couple of my quick hitters that I wanted to throw in there. But I do like it for DK. I actually like it for all of the pass catchers. I kind of feel this way about a lot of offenses this year, to be honest. I just want to have like one random piece and hope I win the lottery. Like if you have, is it Duvall, Vaughn, or whoever, the second wide receiver in Denver?
Yeah.
Drawn. I know it's a unique name. Give me him. Give me Marvin Mims. Give me pass catchers in what could be a good offense. Yeah, 100%. It won't be a good offense, but they'll be behind a lot, so they'll be throwing a lot. I like Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman on my list. I know Jerry Jeudy's the focal point there. People expect a big season.
But also Cedric Tillman was an animal. He was an animal for a stretch there, and then he got hurt, and then Jerry Jeudy stepped in. And Jerry Jeudy also got Jameis Winston. And I think it was Addison Hayes, actually, just tweeted today, like the splits that Jerry Jeudy had for, I'm pulling it up because it was good stuff.
He's interesting. I don't know that Jerry Jeudy's there for a super long time.
No.
And if he has like just a decent wide receiver, like a wide receiver 20 season, That is straight cash to the bottom line on your dynasty roster, Jerry. Did you find your tweet? I'm buying you time.
I appreciate your filibustering. Bingo. Jerry Jeudy's per game averages without Jameis Winston: 6 targets, 3 receptions, 52 yards. Jerry Jeudy's per game averages with Jameis Winston: 9.9 targets, so 3.5 more targets, 7 receptions, 3 more receptions, 112 yards, so 60 more yards, and his touchdown averages doubled. His PPR points per game doubled with Jameis Winston. So is Jerry Jeudy, a person who has struggled throughout his career, tied directly to Jameis Winston and his YOLO ball? There's a chance. So that's why I like taking a shot on Cedric Tillman. He's extremely cheap. Nobody cares about him anymore. I think it's good.
And I'll throw a couple of others at you, and we'll get on out of here. Jaden Blue, if he's able, because the only thing stopping him from getting meaningful touches is Javonte Williams. We've talked about him before, and the Cowboys kind of need him to hit, because you need a cheap running back when you're paying CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. They've got to pay the rusher. I'm drawing a blank. The guy from Penn State, number 11. Help me out.
Micah Parsons.
They got to pay Micah Parsons. So they need cheap. They need cheap help. And running back's always a place where you can get cheap help. And I want to throw you another one, and I'm going to borrow this because I didn't want to put it in the body of the show, but I really liked it when I heard the Podfather and Theo talk about it, Braylon Allen. Because the NFL is a copycat league. What I say earlier, I think we're going to see more 12 personnel. What do I think we're going to see at the running back position? More of what we've seen with the Detroit Lions. You're going to want your Sonic and Knuckles. And the new offensive court, and I'm paraphrasing Theo because they were talking about, because they both live kind of in that New York area. Theo lives on Long Island, Jerry. You ever been to Long Island?
I have not. I've been to a couple of the boroughs, but not Long Island.
I'm going to go this fall. I'm going to go to Strong Island, and I'm going to hang out with Theo this fall. That's on the to-do list. But they were talking about Braylon Allen, and that this new offensive coordinator came over from the Lions. And what if Braylon Allen assumes that David Montgomery role? First of all, if they employ that kind of an offense, that's good for Breece Hall. That's an aside. But
True.
Braylon Allen's right now is going dirt cheap. And I don't think, Jerry, you and I have been talking about what ifs and possibles, because I think the what if conversation in your internal monologue, or listening to podcasts like this, or having it with a buddy, I think that's where the dynasty value comes from. So I hadn't thought of that one. In all of my what if scenarios,
I think everybody's forgotten about Braylon Allen already, and I don't think they were
excited.
excited.
He looked in pockets, just like little moments of time. Like he looked, he's a big dude. Year 2, and again, think about it. It's not a hard narrative to script. The Jets pound the ball a lot. They let Breece Hall walk in free agency. But between like the end of the regular season, let's say Breece Hall has a David Montgomery-esque season, okay? Can you imagine what he's going to get steamed up to between the end of the regular season and before the NFL draft?
Not wrong.
Steam on steam. I thought that one was a great one. They were really talking more for like best ball, but obviously you can take that thought. You can take that thought concept, and we got Ryan C in the chat, and he was like, Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis. For me, it's Braylon Allen.
Yeah, me too.
And that's because that's really tied by the way that he plays the game, and the fact that Breece Hall's a pending free agent that I don't think the Jets intend to sign. And then I'll answer one more question from the chat. It was Senior Football. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for being a regular. It was Jack. I apologize, but still, shout out to Senior Football. You're a real one.
He's been here all day.
Been here all day. One of the best. Him, Jamie, the list goes on. But Jack asked, under or over 28 total, that's the key word, total touchdowns for Justin Fields this year.
Yeah, he's going over on that. I mean, he's going to get 8
Hey,
rushing touchdowns.
That's exact. I had 18 and 10.
Yeah,
That felt like
that's
the. I mean, here's the thing: you just if you don't think he's going to be your long term quarterback, you just kick the shit out of him, respectfully. I mean, it's just like you're a 2-year guy, and I think I know I was the OG guy who was out on Justin Fields.
That's true.
But I absolutely love a reclamation project more than anybody in this industry.
There's gonna be a time when
Give me your tire.
when Randy touts Kyle Pitts, and I'm just gonna be here for that one. That's gonna be the day when we go full circle on Kyle Pitts.
Give me your old, give me your tired, give me your humble masses.
This boy hit us with the Statue of Liberty quote
of retread. And here's the thing: I'm only trying to get 1 year out of them. That's it. But these guys, they're going to stack ADP. They're going to help you win this year. They're going to be great in-season trade candidates. Getting back, Corey Walters, very first person in the chat. He was in before we went live. Want to give him a shout out. Guys, get in the chat. If you're a podcast listener and it's Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever we're in the rotation to release this week, come by the YouTube show. We answer questions out of the chat. Jerry isn't paying attention to me like 94% of the time because he's answering questions in the chat. He's trying to help. And I truly believe that's why guys like Senior Football and Jamie and Corey Walters and all these guys, they come back every week because they know that this show will interact with you. And while we love you listening to the podcast, the audio version, come by playerprofiler.com on a Sunday. And if we see a good question, we're going to answer it. If we see a good comment, we're going to feature it on the live stream. This is an interactive show. When we say the People's Dynasty Podcast, you're our people. That's how it works. So we're going to get out of here. Remember, Fast Draft. I've made your lives easier. Oh, it's buried in the show notes. Not anymore. The very top thing. Like if you're on the YouTube video, the very top thing, that's the link to Fast Draft. You scroll down the show notes a little bit, you'll see the Dynasty Deluxe. Both of them, promo code WarZone. But you guys are awesome. It's so good to see so many people in the podcast. And shout out to Harry Snowman. Like, we're not cool enough to have like a podcast, a YouTube chat moderator. Like, one of my favorite live streams is the Lodge Poker Club in Texas. And they have a really good live stream and a really good chat. They've got moderators. Old Harry Snowman's that's the best. That's the best moderator we can afford.
We got, yeah.
And it's what we got. But, dude, you guys are great. I love doing the show. Jerry, I'll try to figure out a way to do it next week while I'm in the great state of Georgia.
Yeah, so if
Fast
Randy's
drafting my ass off.
Yeah, if Randy's doing the show from a hotel bathroom, just know it's not even going to be the worst show we ever did.
Let me end the show, guys. Again, you guys know the drill. If you're here for the fantasy advice, you've reached the wrong point of the show. Hit the rewind button. But no, dude, I'm going to turn you on Verbo. I'm not an Airbnb guy. Verbo, VRBO, vacation rental by owner. It's where it's at. You get to go through. It's very similar product to Airbnb. I just like the host, like the actual app and it is the same thing, but it's better ran. All right. It's like getting a Dynasty advice anywhere else or coming to Player Profiler. You can go get that shit somewhere else, but you want the good shit, you come here. You want the good shit, you get on VRBO. Yeah, no, I'm not only am I like coaching, but I'm road tripping 4 teenagers with me, 17-year-olds.
You poor bastard.
Oh, some of the words like that, like, I mean, like your generation.
That's gonna be low key skibbity toilet, buddy.
They've grown past the skibbity toilet.
Good.
Now they're busy talking about the Huzz. HUZZ, which you know.
Oh, I know.
You're familiar with the
I got kids I work with that are like 18. Always Huzz.
Well, listen, I can wrap up this show. I can start my editing process and I can watch the Pacers. Try to come back from another one, see if the Halaban can strike again. But on behalf of that man, his name's Jerry Sinclair. Follow him on Twitter, X at JerrySinDWZ. You can follow me at DWZ Memphis and get your asses here next week. Get in the chat so we can answer your question. Thank you for stopping by, and bye, Jerry.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.